Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And in today's video, ask and you shall receive. You guys have been asking recently for there to be more of What If Madara was in Konosuba, and as we go further into Season 2 and with the free slot available, I've decided that going forward, What If Madara was in Konosuba will now not only be on Mondays, but will be on Tuesdays as well, meaning you get back-to-back episodes every week going forward. Now, the reason for this is because we have a lot of stories that are in the final phase of their series at the moment. So because of that, I am going to be pushing back the Spider-Verse that was supposed to be starting this month, and we'll be pushing it back to next month around June-ish, since the events of the Spider-Verse saga, Anime X Marvel Phase 2, will carry us from June all the way till the end of August. But anyway, I do hope you'll stick around for everything that we have here on PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. As in today's video, we will continue What If Madara was in Konosuba, The Last Shinobi of the Wonderful World, Season 2, Part 2. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So, as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. It was a cold winter's day in the country of Axel. Senna, the prosecutor, watching in the distance as Madara, Kazuma, Megumin, and Aqua battled against a horde of giant toads. You see, the toads normally go into hibernation during the winter season, but because a couple of idiots tried launching massive explosions when they were trying to get Madara out of jail, it caused the hibernating toads to be awoken. And since giant toads were a danger to the townspeople, and with Senna and those of the high officials not trusting Madara one bit, they now had to clean up a mess that they had made. Madara was taking account, though, of everyone's skills. The boy known as Kazuma was very capable with a bow and arrow. He also had a high value of luck. He's definitely good as a long-range fighter, Madara would think. Could definitely be useful down the line. Although, as for the others, he couldn't really say the same. Sure, Megumin was able to launch an explosion. Yes, she managed to kill 5 toads. But now the useless Crimson Demon was now in the belly of a toad, slowly being eaten while Kazuma had to try to break her free. In the meantime, Madara was slowly starting to feel himself be withered down. The toads just seemed to keep coming endlessly over and over again, and then there was Aqua, who was just running around pretty much acting as live bait. It didn't help matters when Senna ended up getting captured in the process, and Madara could feel his energy was now starting to run low. It had been almost 5 hours in the freezing cold, and they were fighting these toads that just didn't seem to ever want to stop. And then, to make matters worse, Megumin ended up getting captured again, and Kazuma could feel himself running on his last legs. Madara was prepared to just go out on an all-out assault. However, before he got the chance to, rings of light would appear out of nowhere, dicing and destroying many of the toads in the process. As now another figure had arrived. A young girl who appeared to be about the same age as Megumin, although she was definitely a lot more mature in other aspects. Safe to say, almost everyone was covered in toad slime and were pretty much ready to go home. Aqua went to go get a cart to pick up all the toad meat. Senna, who did not trust any of them, was still going to be leaving to go take a nice bath. And in the meantime, Madara decided that he was just going to go into town. He figured he'd go visit Wiz and see how she was doing. However, as he left to walk through the town to do so, he could feel something coming his way. He dodged at the last second as a kunai went flying past his head, Madara jumping onto the rooftops, knowing fully well who he was going to see. Tobirama! Madara! And just what is your wickedness up to this fine morning? If I'll have you know, I was ridding the town of the giant toads. Sure could have been helpful if you were there. Like I'd ever lend you my aid. Do you have anything better to do than try to follow me all day? Well, I have to be going back home soon. I just wanted to keep an eye on you. You might be able to fool everyone else, Madara, but you can't fool me. Who's there trying to fool, Madara would say. You already know what I'm about and what I'm capable of. Try all you might, you don't even compare to Hashirama. Maybe, but I'm more than powerful enough to deal with you. I can see between the two of us, my level is slightly stronger. If it really came down to it, I could take your life. No, I'll just end up being reborn now, won't I? Which is precisely why I will get the wish first, Tobirama would say. Once I do, I'll make sure that you can never leave this world. It will be your prison. I see. And what has your progress been in finding Hashirama, if he is even in this world? I have not made any headway in finding Elder Brother. However, once I do, he will be on my side. You cannot beat the two of us. You are on your own. Tobirama would then disappear just as quickly as he had come, Madara not really being in much of a mood. He stopped by Wizard's shop as the two of them had a cup of tea, sitting near the window as the snow kept falling. You seem to be troubled, Wiz would ask. It's nothing much, just dealing with an annoyance from my past. That white-haired boy, right? Yeah, definitely him. But why don't the two of you get along? I can tell that from the way you guys fight, you're very similar. Huh, similar, me and him? I wouldn't go that far. He's from a rival clan, if you will. We've never really seen eye to eye, and we've met many times on the battlefield. I see. So it's a fated meeting between rivals. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, that about sums it up. But even still, I don't think you should let it get to you. After all, I think you're pretty cool the way you are. Well, thank you. And thanks for the tea. It really helped. Now I gotta try to get home. I'm ready to go rest. As Madara did so, walking through the doors, there was some commotion going on upstairs. You see, when Kazuma was going to take Megumin back home, it seemed as though the girl that had arrived, her name being Yunyun, was another member of the Crimson Demon Clan. The two ended up having another match, well, I guess in their rivalry, which resulted in both girls being covered in toad slime. And then when Kazuma was escorting Megumin back home, he found himself on the receiving end of, well, more toad slime. And then on top of that, Megumin picked up a stray cat named Chomosuke. So it seemed like there was yet another mouth to feed. In either case, when they went home, Madara was, well, exhausted. Although thankfully he wasn't covered in any toad slime, not that much, so he could afford to wait. And a good thing he did too, as the door was frozen solid. The reason being was that Kazuma did not want to be caught in the same bath with Megumin. The last thing he needed to be labeled was a pedo NEET, or worst of all, to have Madara's wrath. You see, Madara treated Megumin like a little sister. She reminded him a lot of his younger brother Izuna Uchiha, and he was very, and I mean very, protective of her. Of all three girls and their antics, Megumin was probably the only one who got away with most under Madara's watch. And if Madara found out that some boy that he had just offered out of the kindness of his heart to join their party had been caught in an indecent environment with her, well, it's safe to say Kazuma knew that his ass would be grass. Or more so, he would be grass that would be set on fire. In either case, The group had to decide what they were going to do next. They had to pay off all of this debt somehow. Debt that found them in the millions. There weren't enough toads to kill to cover it, even for all the ones they had slain today. How are they going to get out of this, Madara thought. They just had to make a way. But for now, there was some things that were in their favor. While they were fighting out in the snow, they found what appeared to be a special artifact. They were going to take it to Wiz's shop to see if they could sell it. Maybe they could get something out of it in the long run. As they made their way, Madara would talk to Kazuma. Kazuma inquiring more about Madara and about the world he had come from. Wait, so you didn't come from Japan? Kazuma would ask. No, I did not come from Japan. I don't even know what a Japan even is. I come from the country of Konoha, the village hidden in the leaves. Village hidden in the leaves? That's weird. Kinda sounds like I've heard that before. What do you mean you've heard it before? Okay, well, believe it or not, in my world, we have a lot of these different stories and stuff. It comes in the form of anime and manga, if you will. So there was a story about a boy who grew up in some weird ninja world, and he came from a place, although it was called the village hidden in the trees. The village hidden in the trees? Let me ask you, what is this boy's story? I can't really say I recall. I wasn't really much of a fan. I was more so into this story about this guy who ended up meeting this girl who was a soul reaper. So he ends up using some of her power to fight off against evil monsters in his town. What? That sounds absolutely ridiculous. There's also a story about a boy who wants to become king of the pirates, and he ended up eating a magical fruit that gave him the ability to stretch like rubber. Alright, now I feel like I've heard it all. A boy that ate a magical fruit, another boy that got the powers of a soul reaper. Come on, what do you take me for, a fool? Who would come up with something as idiotic as that? There's no way a story like that could ever be true. But we have tons of stories. There's a story about a boy who traveled along with talking animals and beautiful women who fight using the power of friendship. There's also a guy who died and got resurrected with a red dragon and ended up being surrounded by a harem of big, beautiful women. There's also the story of a boy who ended up dying and coming back to life and became some sort of a ghost detective, only to find out that he had a demon inside of him as well. There's also some girl that has the powers of a moon, although I'm not really quite sure about her. Oh yeah, there's a story about these two brothers who lost their mom, and so they tried to bring her back to life, but sadly they went against the laws of nature, and then they ended up, yeah. I'm sure you and your tall tales are really amazing. Like anything like that ever happened in this world. In either case, they ended up arriving to Wiz's shop, to which case Madara was happy to see her, although not so happy about what happened next. You see, Megumin brought Chomosuke, the cat, with them, and the cat happily jumped in Wiz's arms. But that's not all it did. The cat started to play with some fun bags, bouncing them up and down, over and over again. Madara grabbing the little cat by the collar. And just what in the hell do you think you're doing? Meow. I don't want to hear it from you. Meow. Don't try to play innocent with me. You know what you were up to. Meow. I don't want to hear it. Stop playing with them. Meow. Wait, Madara? Megumin would ask. You can understand what Chomosuke is saying? Of course I can understand what Chomosuke is saying. You mean none of you understand what the cat's saying? Meow. Language! What did he say? I don't want to repeat it. That's amazing, Madara, Wiz would say. When did you learn to talk to cats? It's just something that's always been in my family. Of all the animals, we have an odd connection to cats for some reason. Meaning I know fully well what it's doing. Come on, Madara. Wiz would take Chonosuke back into her arms. It's nothing to worry about. No reason to be jealous. Jealous? Who said I was jealous? I'm not jealous of anything. Of a cat? Oh, come on. I wouldn't be jealous of a cat. Of course, the shop was not entirely empty before they had arrived. As you see, Yun had been, waiting there all day. Waiting for Megumin to arrive. Now that Megumin had done so, it was up for the two rivals to go face to face yet again. Of course, Madara wasn't really in the mood for these children and their games, for whatever they were trying to do. For now, at least for Madara, the only thing that mattered was seeing through and trying to get this stupid item sold. Of course, that was easier said than done, given the fact that they still would have incurred a lot of debt. In the meantime, Megumin along with Yun were having a contest, something to decide their rivalry once and for all. It involved them using another magic crystal to try to see and peer and find who had the best friends, or who had the most friends. Although, all that everyone ended up seeing were embarrassing moments between the two of them. From Megumin stealing bread crusts to Yun celebrating her birthday alone. Also, Yun playing chess by herself and Megumin, foraging for food in the forest. Safe to say it was rather embarrassing on both sides. It almost got even worse as the two of them almost knocked the crystal over, breaking it and only incurring more debt. But thankfully Madara caught it in time. But when he did, it now showed the depths of Madara's heart. Madara seeing his own past, with him and Hashirama. Everyone was now privy to see Madara's deepest emotions, seeing his past and everything he had gone through. Madara and Hashirama, two boys from rival clans, who dared not reveal their last name, yet they have to face one another in battle. Two boys who wanted to see a vision for a new future, and yet ultimately they could not agree. Wow, Madara, is that? Megumin would ask. Yeah, he was my friend. Safe to say, things got a bit more intense as Madara would put away the crystal. For now, things were going to be called a tie. Yun commenting that they also did have a rivalry to see which one of them had matured the most. Although Megumin, looking to spin things around, would say that when she was talking about maturity, she was talking about a different kind of maturity. Not just in the terms of the body, but in terms of one's own way of acting. Megumin would smile happily as she pointed to Kazuma. I have matured to the point where me and Kazuma have the type of relationship where we can take open baths together. Madara's head slowly turned to Kazuma as Megumin said this. Kazuma grabbing Megumin by the cheeks and pulling them. Is this your big stupid mouth that always has to try to get me in trouble doing Oh. So, Kazuma, Madara would say as he cracked his neck. You and Megumin have the type of relationship where you take open baths together now, huh? I can explain. You have 10 seconds. Thank you. Kazuma immediately started running for his life. Madara slowly counting to 10 as he walked out of the door. The girls following close behind, as the never miscellaneous adventures of Madara in the world of Konosuba would continue. Would they be able to get out of their debt? Would they be able to overcome the challenges of getting all of their stuff back? Was Madara going to kill Kazuma and send him back to the gods? Well, you'll have to stay tuned next time to find out. This concludes Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba Season 2, Part 2. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and podcastings. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue on with Part 3. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's story. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.